Okay, students, so let's start with today's topic, that is operators. So until now, if you just check out some of other courses created by some other programmers related to C, not in Udemy only, in all over the internet, if you check out, operators are generally higher in the list of the lectures. But I am discussing operators bit later. The reason behind this is when you start explaining concepts to students who are new to programming. Suppose if I have just give you a lecture over data types and what is operators, what are constants, what are keywords, what are variables, and then start discussing some another concept, so it will be bit boring for you. You will not be able to grasp, but until now you have executed some of the programs on IDs already, so now you can easily relate with those operators that we are discussing today. So this is my strategy of putting it a bit later, and trust me, when you understand, when you just go through this lecture, you will feel the same, that this was the right time to discuss operators. But if we talk about other instructors, they are generally discussing operators a bit earlier, right? So it's just my strategy, it's up to you. If you want to watch the lectures in your preferable order, it's up to you. As you have enrolled to this course, you must have an access to all the lectures. So let's start with operators. What is an operator? Operator is a symbol that tells the computer to perform certain mathematical or logical manipulations. These operators are used in programs to manipulate data and variables. Now there are some types of operators and we'll be discussing all these one by one, right? So firstly is arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are used to perform numerical calculations along the values. So in case of arithmetic operators, there is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo operator or modulo division, which is also called as mode operator. So you must remember, we have just discussed this mode operator when we were discussing the first C, when we were discussing about the flowcharts. I was explaining to you the concept of finding whether the number is odd or even. So at that time, I just introduced that modulo division is nothing but giving you the remainder of the two operands that you entered. Suppose you have written 5 mod 3. That means you need to divide the 5 by 3, and what will be the remainder? That is the answer of your expression. So this is a code. So obviously this is as simple as just like a simple program of C. You are just printing the statement in order to instruct the user to enter two values. Then you are scanning those variables and fetching from the output screen. Then you are using all the operators of arithmetic operation, that is plus, minus, multiply, divide, and mod, and then printing the result of that, right? So in order to execute this, I am showing you directly, I'm moving the control directly to the ID and I'll be solving this over there. So this is our ID. So let me just execute the first program of operators. So here is our program, right? So it is the same program that I just showed you in the PPT. Now over here you can check that out, that I am using %d in order to print the integer type values, and all the variables that I am using in this program are of integer type, whether the two variables which are having our operands, that is a and b, or whether we talk about add, sub, mul, div, or rem, right? So let's execute this. So I am writing 10 and then I am pressing enter. Then I am writing 20 and then I am pressing enter. So here is the answer. For addition, obviously it will be 30, and subtraction, obviously it will be minus 10, because you are subtracting 10 from 20. Oh, sorry, you are subtracting 20 from 10. That is 10 minus 20. That will result in minus 10. Then there is multiplication, division, and remainder, right? So let's move back to our PPT. Now next comes the relational operators. In case of relational operators, it is used to compare two quantities and take certain decision depending on their relation. If the specified relation is true, it returns 1. If the specified relation gives you false, then it returns 0. So suppose you are writing A is less than B. So in that case, if A is less than B, suppose A is having 10 and B is having 20, and you are writing A is less than 20 or A is less than B, I mean. So in that case, obviously it will result in true because 10 is obviously less than 20. So that expression will return 1. But if I am writing 20 is less than 10, then it will return 0. Right? So this is our example. So again we are instructing the user to enter two values, and then we are using those two values to use all the operators, right? To solve all the operators, I mean. So there is less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, and then not equal to, right? I have already just guided you what equal to stands for in our previous lectures, and equal to is used to check out whether A is equal to B or not. So if those two terms or those operands on the either side of double equal to are same, then it will result in 1, else it will result in 0. And not equal to is obviously if A is not equal to B, this should return 1, or otherwise it should return 0. So I am trying to execute this code over ID. Let's move to ID directly. So you guessed it right, I have just copied all the codes for operators so that I can execute that rapidly and I need not to waste time. Okay, so this is our second experiment for operators. So over here we are getting the value from the user, that is the value of A and B, and then executing these operations. So I'm running it now. So I'm writing 5 and enter, 9 and enter. Yes, 5 is less than 9, so that's why over here the answer is 1. So if we talk about this expression, 5 is less than equal to 9, yes, the answer should be 1, and it is 1 on the output screen. But 5 is not greater than 9, so answer should be 0. Same for this. And if we compare both of them, 5 is not 5 equal to 9, this expression will obviously result in 0 because 5 is not equal to 9. And at last we are checking whether two are not equal to each other or not. So 5 is not equal to 9, so it should result in 1, and here is your answer. So these expressions are giving you the expected results. Now let's move to the next example quickly. So next comes the logical operators. These operators are used for testing more than one condition and making decisions. C has 3 logical operators, and those are double AND, or which is called as logical AND, then logical OR, and logical NOT. If we talk about logical AND, suppose you have two expressions on either side of logical AND. So both the two expressions have to be true in order to give you a true result. So if one of them is false, then it will result in false, and if both of them are false, then obviously it will result in false. Right? Now OR operator works, these are basic concepts of logic gates, right? So if we talk about logical OR, the two terms or the two operands on the either side of logical OR operator, at least one should be true in order to get the answer as true. If both are false, then obviously it will be false, but if one is a true or if both are true, then it should result in true, or that is 1. Now logical NOT is doing what over here? If we talk about logical NOT operator, suppose you have stored some value in some variable and you are putting a NOT in front of that. or let me just quote it something like, if there is an expression and then you are putting not in front of that, so you are negating that function. Oh sorry, you are negating that expression. Let me discuss these with an example. So this is our example. As always, we are taking the two variables or two values of a and b from the user, and then we are trying to execute these three functions. Now if we talk about the third printf statement, that is the last printf statement, over here you are checking out not of a equal to b. So if a equal to b is true, not of that will result false. Understand that? So let's start directly. I am running it over the id. Let's start with the execution directly. So this is our code. Okay, there is some error. Let me just fix it. Okay, we are good to go. Now I am running this. Now I am entering 10 and enter, 20 and enter. Now see, we are getting 111, but let me solve it for you. I am writing some commented statements over here. Okay, let me just write it directly in front of the statement. So a is less than b. Yes, a is less than b, so it will result in true. And then AND operator, logical AND operator is there. The second expression gives us a not equal to b. Yes, a is not equal to b because 10 is not equal to b, so that will result in 1 also. So 1 and 1 results in 1, right? Next is a is less than 1. Yes, it is true. And then you are pressing OR. Okay, so OR b is less than a, but obviously b is not less than a, that will result in 0. So 1 or 0 will result in 1. As I have already told you, at least one of the expression should be giving you 1 if you want to get the output as 1. Okay, in the last case, here is our not operator, and then you are writing in the braces a is equal to b, but a is not equal to b because 10 is not equal to 20. So the answer is 0, and not of 0 is nothing but 1, and here is your answer 111, and it should be like that. I am just running it for you once again. Now I am writing 5 and 5. Now see, now the answer is totally different. The reason being, so it is pretty clear that over here 5 is equal to 5, right? So it should result in what? It should result in true, or you can say it should result in 1. So not of 1 is equal to 0. Oops, sorry for it. Not of 1 is equal to 0. And if we talk about this expression, now neither 5 is less than neither 5 is less than 5 nor 5 is less than 5. So 0 or 0 will result in 0. And then if we talk about this expression of the logical AND operator, so the first expression will result in obviously 0 because 5 is not less than 5. And the second, now let's talk about the second expression. 5 is not equal to 5. It's again giving you 0. So 0 and 0 will result in 0, and hence prove that our answer on the output screen is absolutely right and our operators are working fine. These were the logical operators. Now you can use these logical operators in case of if block as a condition. We haven't discussed loops yet, but you can use these in the conditions of for loop or while loop, right? And if we talk about structure or any other thing, if we talk about switch case or any programming construct, you can use these as an expression anywhere in any programming construct. Obviously you need to follow the syntax, but if the syntax is right, you can use these operators. Not only these, all the operators that we are discussing in this lecture. Okay, let's move to the next topic now. Next comes the assignment operator. These operators are used for assigning the result of an expression to a variable. So b equal to a is also a assignment operator. I mean equal to, single equal to is also a assignment operator. So there is double equal to that we have already covered. Then plus equal to, minus equal to, and so on. So if you check out over here, all these, if we talk about double equal to, after the double equal to, plus equal to is generally used as a shorter form. Let me write it for you on the screen in order to make it a bit clear. Okay, this is a shorter form of, if I want to write a is equal to a plus 1, I can write it like a plus equal to 1. It is a valid statement. This is a valid C statement. If I want to write b is equal to a plus b, or let's say b is equal to b plus a, let me write it again. B is equal to b plus a. The shorter form for this is, I can write b plus equal to a, right? Same goes with minus equal to, multiply equal to, divide equal to, and mod equal to. These works exactly same. Now these are left shift and right shift operators along with equal to sign. This is AND operator with equal to sign, OR operator with equal to sign, and exponential with equal to sign. Let's just discuss these with an example. Okay, this is our code. So we are instructing the user as always to enter the values, and we are fetching those values from the console or from the output screen, and then we are trying to execute these statements. Oops, sorry for the interruption. Okay, then we are trying to execute these expression, that is the use of C plus equal to, C minus equal to, or equal multiply equal to, or divide equal to. Let's just run a program on the IDE in order to execute all these. Okay, here is our code. Let me check what's the warning. Okay, there's nothing like that. There's no warning because this is expression, so there will not be any effect on the output. So we are entering values. Now let me just solve it for you first, and then we'll do the processing part. Then I'll be executing it. Now suppose A is having 10, right? I'm just writing star over here so that I can write endless comments. Okay, so let's start. Suppose A is having 10 and B is having 20. Now C is currently having 0. Now let's start with the execution now. So the first statement is this: C is equal to A plus B. So the output of C equal to A plus B will be equal to obviously 10 plus 20, and it should be equal to 30. Now as the value of C is 30, now the second statement is C plus equal to B, which is nothing but, you can write it like C is equal to C plus B, right? Now in order to add C plus B, the new value of C is 30. Now you need to write 30 plus 20, and that will give you 50. I'm executing these for you so that we can directly check it on the output screen. Now next is C minus equal to B. That means now you want to subtract the value of B from C, or you can say C is equal to C minus B. will be executed. 50 minus 20 will give you 30. Next comes C multiply equal to B. Oops, I just did a mistake. In the question it's C minus equal to A. Although there is no difference in the output, there will no error. I was doing it right, but we need to match it exactly with the output on the screen, so that's why I am doing it for you. Now C minus equal to A should be 50 minus 10 and the answer should be 40. Okay, so over here it is equal to C multiply with B. Nope, again in the question it's C multiply equal to A. So C multiply with A. Now the answer will be nothing but 40 into 10, that is 400. Then comes C divide equal to B. Now the answer to this is C is equal to C divide by B. Now the answer will be 400 divided by 20. And yeah, you guessed it right. The answer will be 20. Right? So let's move to the next. Next is C mod equal to B. Now this is equal to C mod B. Now this will give us, now the value of C is 20, mod the value of B is also 20, so the answer to this will be 1. So let me just scroll up a bit, and this was our code. Now I am running it and I'll be entering the same value for A and B so that we can match these with the output screen. Okay, so I am entering 10, then 20. Now the answer should match with our answers exactly. Here it is, absolutely right. Oops, I just did one mistake here. It will be 0 because 20 more 20 will give you 0. The remainder will be 0. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so if you check out, the answers that we have computed is exactly same with the answers that is on the output screen. Now the thing that you need to remember is, whenever you are changing the value of C over here, if you check out in this line, you are changing the value of C. Now the C will be having A plus B. Now if in the second statement you are writing basically C equal to C plus B, you are trying to execute this statement. So over here we will be using the new value of C, and the new value of C was computed in this line. Now keep this in mind, right? So we have executed everything perfectly fine. Now let's move to the next operator. Okay, next comes the increment and decrement operator. Two most useful operators which are present in C are increment and decrement operators. These are written as plus plus or minus minus. Both are unary operators and can be used as pre and post increment or decrement operators. So this is our example. Now understand one concept, that in what happens when a pre-increment is done, what happens when a post increment is done. So understand this thing. Prefix, in case of prefix, firstly increment will be there, then then the incremented value will be sent in D. And if we talk about x plus plus, that is postfix, firstly the value of x is sent to D and then it is incremented. So in case of prefix, the increment is done first. In case of post increment, increment is done after the assignment. So this is the concept of prefix and postfix. This same concept works for the pre-decrement and post-decrement. The same concept goes there also. So now I'll be executing these functions that we are printing from the statement 7 to 10. I'll be trying to execute these. So firstly we need to perform C is equal to plus plus A. So currently the value of A is 10. So in order to execute plus plus C, firstly the value of A will be changed, and now the value of A will be 11, and then this changed value will be sent to C. So answer will be 11 for this statement. For the next statement A plus plus, firstly the value of A will be sent to C. So the answer is 11, and then increment is done. So after execution of this, the value of A will be 12. Now in the third part we are performing minus minus B, or you can say double minus B. In this case, firstly decrement will be performed. So now B will be having value, B will be equal to 7 now, and then this changed value is sent to C. Now in the second statement, that is C is equal to B minus minus, in this case firstly the value of B will be sent to C, and then it is decremented, and after decrement it will become nothing but 6. Now let me just execute this concept. So I'll be entering the same values that we assumed in this example. So A is equal to 10, and then B is equal to 8. So here are our answers: 11, 11, 7, 7, and we have executed the same code. That means what we have learned is exactly right, and this is your output for pre-increment and post-increment operators, or pre-decrement and post-decrement operators. Now quickly let's move to the next topic. Next comes the conditional operators. These conditional operators are used to construct conditional expressions of the form. Now in this case it exactly works like if statement. So firstly let me tell you, this operator is called as ternary operator. So let's just execute this. So in this whole code, firstly the expression is executed. Firstly this expression will be executed, and if this expression is true, then this first part will be executed. If the expression results in false, then the second part will be executed, right? So this is the whole code. So if we just recall the if statement, so this is acting, this condition or this expression A is greater than B, this is acting as the condition for if this A is our if block and this B is our else block. Now let's just execute this on the output screen, or I mean on the IDE directly. Okay, in this case what exactly is executed, let me just fix this. There is one extra braces. Okay, there is no error in this code now. Okay, so what exactly will be performed? Suppose we are entering the value of A. Suppose we are entering A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. Just assume this. So we are performing 10 is greater than 20, and obviously it will result in false. If it is false, then what will be printed on the output screen? This will be printed. So the value of B, the value that is being kept in this variable B, will be sent to X, and that will be printed on our output screen. Now let me just run it. Now I'm writing 10 and I'm writing 20 for B, and here's our answer. So as I have already told you that X will be having the value of B, and it's on the output screen. As simple as that. Now let's quickly move to the next operators. Okay, now comes the bitwise operators, and these works on the bit level. Suppose if we talk about value 10, suppose A is having value 10 and B is having value 20. Now firstly computer will change 10 to binary, and then 22 binary, and then bitwise AND operator will be performed. Same goes with bitwise OR and bitwise XOR, and shift left and shift right is also works basically on the bit level. Next comes the special operators. In case of special operators, let me just tell you what exactly is performed. C supports some special operators such as comma operator, size of operator, and pointer operators. Now you know we have already executed these comma variables in the form, like suppose if I am writing int a is equal to 10, comma b is equal to 20, semicolon. It is a valid statement. The comma operator is used to combine related expressions. A comma linked list of expressions are evaluated left to right, and the value of rightmost expression is the value of combined expression. So this is one example for comma operator. Now comes the special operator, which is called as size of operator. You can find size of any operator. So if I am using some arrays, you can find the size of an array. You can find the size of an integer type variable. You can find the size of a floating type variable or character type variable. So just write the variable name in between the braces, and you can use this size of operator to find the size of some particular variable, and this will return the number of bytes that operand occupies. Understand this thing. Thank you guys, thanks for your patience. This is end of whole lecture related to operators, right? I hope you get this. So please review this course, write a review if you are liking this course, and if you have any doubts, then please write in the Q&A session. Thank you, students.